This is the Horse Radio Network.
This is episode 25 of Retired Racehorse Radio on the Horse Radio Network, brought to you by Kentucky Performance Products and Casual Products. Retired Racehorse Radio is your guide to the adoption, care, and training of the retired racehorse, brought to you in cooperation with the Retired Racehorse Project and New Vocations Racehorse Adoption Program.
In today's show, we talk with Thoroughbred enthusiast and Royal Horse trainer Louise Robson. HRN listener Abby Foltz joins us to tell us how her little red mare is taking flight in the eventing world. And start hooking up your trailer now, because we bring you a real heartbreaker with New Vocations Adoptable Horse of the Week. Stay tuned.
And they're off on Retired Racehorse Radio, the podcast that is your guide to the adoption, care, and training of the retired racehorse.
This is Jamie Jennings in Norman, Oklahoma.
And this is Joy Hills from Kalamazoo, Michigan, and you're listening to Retired Racehorse Radio.
Happy anniversary, Joy! 1 year. Are you
know.
serious?
It's amazing. Who would have thought we got this far? And people actually listen.
I can't believe that. Thank you guys all for listening.
Yeah, thank you so much.
What's funny to me is, when I first started doing the Horses in the Morning show, my husband was like, "You're going to do a radio show about horses every day. What are you going to talk about in a week?" And then I come to him with, "I'm going to do a radio show about racehorses that have already been retired." And he's like, "That's going to last a week." And
well,
here we
look
are
at us
year
now,
later.
Chad.
Woohoo! I mean, men have no concept of how women can just talk about horses. We have
Which is
no
shocking,
problem.
because we're, an hour at the barn really means 4 hours at the barn.
Exactly.
You'd think that math would start adding up to them.
I just saw a meme that said, so the wife said, "I'll be back from the barn. I'll be home in 15 minutes. And he's like, "Is that like 15 minutes real time or 15 minutes barn time?"
That's so accurate.
It's true. It's
I'll be
barn
like,
time.
Matt, I'll be home at 2:00 and I'll get home at like 3:00. And I'm like, it's 2 somewhere else.
2 a.m.
Yeah.
I meant 2 a.m. See, I'm early. Well, so in the world of racehorses that we have challenged ourselves with, what are some of the things that you have learned this year?
Oh my gosh, what haven't I learned? It's been, you think a subject, like, I'm going to do this podcast because I learned so much with my first year as owning a racehorse. I knew diddly squat. I've learned so much in this first year. The number one thing is just how truly versatile a thoroughbred is. We talk about it, we see it, but, with Fallon Taylor taking the Retired Racehorse Project, she won that with her horse doing barrel racing. You see them doing Western Ranch, vaulting. It's just seeing you do mounted archery and like, come on now. It's just amazing. All the things these horses can do, that they can drive. They're just such great horses.
They really.
I just really didn't fathom it till I got to see it, and then talking to all the people who are competing in the Retired Racehorse Project, all of our amazing guests who have come on to share. I mean, heck, we just talked to someone who is training, or we're going to be talking to someone, I should say, training for the Queen of England, retired racehorses for the Queen of England.
Now, the Queen of England is an amazing woman who owns her own racehorses. So the fact that you found this person who's retraining them, and the Queen is on board with RRP.
I know.
I mean, come on.
If that's not trending, I don't know what else is. Like, the Queen thinks it's cool. What are you doing?
You know what? Maybe she listens to this show. Hello.
Oh gosh, if she is, thank you.
Your Highness, I am a fan of Monty Roberts. I know he trains all your horses, so we welcome you to be a part of it. And if you'd like to come on the show, we would be more than happy. Have your people call our people
to chat with you.
I'm sure she's listening. No, you actually got to do that interview earlier with Louise Robson, and I'm super excited to listen into that. I'm jealous that I didn't get to be a part of it, but
I think we'll have to have her back
that.
for sure.
Yeah,
she was lovely.
Well, some of the things I learned this year are just that exactly what you said. It's very versatile, but I learned that I could compete in the makeover. Like, I mean, my gosh, if I can do it, you guys can do it. It's just, somebody asked me yesterday, are you going to do it again? And I was like, I need a break, man. I seriously poured.
You don't really think about it, but it is a lot. And, I didn't do it this year, but I talked to so many people prepping for it. And, you have to have the right horse and you have a limited time span and you don't know what's going to happen in between. The horses do all kinds of crazy stuff. I wish we had bubble wrap to put them in.
I'm not. Yeah, it's true, and it's just such a emotional and a commitment. I mean, physically and emotionally, it's a huge commitment. So I think that I will cherish competing in that my whole life. And it's actually funny. So I met this woman yesterday, and she's like, "Oh, you're right," talking about horses, and then she said, "I was like, oh yeah, I competed. It was my makeover horse from last year," and she's like. You were in the makeover, and it just adds like super legitimacy to my riding and training, even though, we can't.
I mean,
like, when
you did see that picture of you doing your freestyle, right?
It was pretty awesome.
You're kind of a badass.
I'm galloping around with no reins, popping balloons while my horse is,
And I'm sorry, can you remind me of how much time you spent putting that together, Jamie?
Yeah, it's not important. I probably should have spent more.
Point is, it was impressive and you did a great job. And the horses, it just shows that like the work ethic that they have. They want to do great things. They want to make you happy.
Yeah, so we will continue. I actually thought we'd be done with this podcast after the makeover, and Joy wants to keep going. So we hope to continue to bring you guys more and more stuff about retired racehorses and the care
there's
and
more
the
to
training.
Learn. There's so much more to learn. Like we still got standard breds. We're going to bring some standard bred stuff on, and I can't wait to get into the quarter horse racing world. I feel like that's such a mystery to most of us.
Yeah, I'm sure it is. It is to me. So although I've seen him race, and I always bet on the complete loser. So it's an absolute mystery to me. And I want to bring somebody in to talk to us about betting because, going to the track and supporting these racehorses that we love so much is a lot of fun, and it can be a great day out. So we're going to have somebody on to talk about betting as well. Anyway, so let's hear from our title sponsor, Kentucky Performance Products, and then we are going to come back and get right to the girl who's like training for the Queen of England.
Each week, you carefully plan out your horse's training schedule. You work with your trainer to fine-tune his flat work. You school through grids to perfect his jump and set up multiple courses to educate your eye. You enjoy long hacks to keep his mind fresh and body strong. Show day arrives. You take a deep breath as you enter the ring. We've got this, you whisper so only he can hear you. You move as one, sailing over each element in perfect harmony. The feeling you get when it all clicks. It's why we do what we do. This feeling is brought to you by Joint Armor. Joint Armor's complete formula provides your horse with the nutrients necessary to support healthy joints throughout his lifetime. Joint Armor maintains fluid motion and flexibility in hardworking joints. It supports normal cartilage development and reduces joint deterioration. Joint Armor provides high levels of both glucosamine and chondroitin, plus 100 milligrams of hyaluronic acid. Best of all, Joint Armor is affordable. One small jar lasts up to 75 days. The horse that matters to you matters to Kentucky Performance Products.
Well, we have a special treat today. I am talking with Louise Robson, who is over across the pond in Great Britain doing some amazing things with royalty. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show, Louise.
Thank you very much for inviting me and asking me to, chat everything horse, really.
Of course. So you're a dressage rider. Tell us a little bit about how you got your start.
I come from not a horsey background. My parents aren't horsey. So my mum offered to take me for a riding lesson when I was 5. And the choice was between going for a ballet lesson or a horse riding lesson. Needless to say, I never went to the ballet lesson. I just was hooked. And then I fell in love with dressage when I was about 14, 15. And I had an Arabian. And we just did a little bit of dressage. And it it bloomed from there, but it was really on the ex-racehorses that I started to fall in love with the higher levels of dressage and what you can do and how you can train a horse and how the beauty of dressage comes out and what you can achieve. And from there, I just fell in love and I've never looked back.
That's amazing. And I think it's interesting you say that you fell in love with the ex-racehorses. I'm a dressage rider as well. And I see all the time it's about warm bloods, not to, count them out or anything. They're amazing and talented. But I feel like the ex-racehorse is kind of the underdog in the dressage ring. What horse inspired you to say, yep, I want those thoroughbreds?
Well, because we don't, as a family, we didn't have any money. So my first horse, my dad thought was brilliant because she was wild from the New Forest, which is south from where I live, and she cost £50, and that's what we could afford, and it kept me quiet, and I loved her very much. But we could never afford to buy a warm blood or a ready-made horse, and the ex-race horses, well, they were cheap. And my first one was on loan. So we never bought him. He was still owned, but the owner couldn't afford him. And it was always a case of me. It was, you make what you have in front of you. If you want to do it, then that's fantastic. But this is what you've got and you need to find a way through it. And so that's why my love with the ex-race horses start was because it was what was really available to me. And then, well, we're British. We all love an underdog anyway, but it's just their thrive for knowledge and they want to give you everything and they learn so quickly. And I love, the warm bloods are fantastic, but there's something extra special about a thoroughbred that just gives you a feel and they want to please you and they are a true athlete. So for me, I've never really looked back.
Oh my gosh, that gave me chills. That's such a great answer. I love that. It's like what this whole show's about. You're the perfect. And you're riding a very special ex-race horse. Tell us about Quadrille.
So Quadrille, he's now 13. I've had him since he was 5. He was quite successful as a racehorse. His most famous race being at Royal Ascot as a 3-year-old, where he was second to a Godolphin horse at afar. The race after, he had sustained a tendon injury, and he's owned and he's bred by Her Majesty the Queen, and he's the second one from her that we've had. We have 3 in total, and he's the highest competing ex-racehorse on the UK dressage circuit at Inter 1 level. He's a rather special horse, and yeah, he's just incredible, really, and I love him, and I think he's brilliant, but he is special. He's a very, very special boy.
And he won Horse of the Year for retraining of racehorses. What is that? Is that like our thoroughbred makeover in the United States? What is that program about?
Yeah, so the ROR, which is the retraining of racehorses, it's not so much like your RRP, which I came to, by the way, in 2015. I rode in it with a horse. So, I came over with a horse and rode in the dressage section. He was called Pinchy Strider. He now lives in Tennessee with Susan Francis and is loved very much. She calls him Mr. Darcy. But anyway, so the retraining of racehorses here is an organisation which supports horses leaving racing, and for anyone that has an ex-racehorse, so in any discipline, polo, hunting, like you have with the RRP, but it's not about a one final competition. It is about the horses all the way through the rest of their lives being supported by the ROR, and the ROR holds elite championships for each discipline, but it's the same every year. It's not, any horse can attend, and then the elite winners go through to the retraining of racehorses Horse of the Year. So this year, Quadrille won the elite dressage, and he went to the ROR awards and he won Horse of the Year, which was very surprising, fantastic.
How did the Queen feel about that? I bet she was ecstatic.
She was thrilled and she was ecstatic. It was really lovely as well because all the horses there are phenomenal. All the elite winners are incredible, and like the polo elite winner had played in the Gold Cup and she played in the Argentine Open, and then the show jumping horse had been to Bolzer, young horse classes, and done really well there. It's such a fantastic showcase for the retrained racehorse and their versatility and what they can do. But for dressage, for me, obviously, because I'm from a dressage background, retraining a racehorse into dressage is particularly difficult because it's one of the few disciplines where they no longer use their adrenaline for kind of good for their discipline. So eventing, they use it for the speed and the cross country. Polo, obviously, they use it as fast and all their fast twitch fibers are used, whereas dressage, they need to be calm and they need to be relaxed and they need to be supple. And the level that quad drills at, he's at intermediate 1, so he does full counter pirouettes and he has to be able to sit and push, which is completely benign to his training and his conformation. And the fact that he is doing it and he is doing it well, and to be recognized about that, and the difficulties that you have to get that horse to that level happily and being comfortable and sound and still being able to perform. It's fantastic that he has been recognized for that. And it's only that horse's nature and his thrive and his wanting to please. And, he defies really what he should be able to do, but that's just him. And that's why he was a good racehorse. He has that grit, that little bit of extra, and he shows that in the dressage arena as well. And, he's phenomenal. I'm very lucky to ride him.
Oh, he sounds like a real dream. And I mean, he's got a dressage inspired name as well. This is his destiny, it sounds like.
Well, yes, but he does, he's like any ex-racehorse. He does pose his challenges, and we say he's like Peter Pan, the boy that never grew up.
Oh.
His face he still looks like a 2-year-old colt, and he is very bouncy, and he likes to jump around, and he likes to he's very athletic in all meanings of the sense. So he's he's always very joyous, and he just thinks everything's amazing and entertaining. And, he certainly lets me know that he's always the one in charge. But to be fair to him, when he fights for you and he goes into that arena, he is professional, and he gets his head in the game and he shows off. He takes the narrative sometimes from crazy ex-racehorse to look at what I can do. And he holds his own against the warm bloods, and he's pretty cool.
Awesome. So what are your big goals for him over the next year?
So he's only 13 this year. So the next few years for us, the ultimate aim will be Grand Prix. It would be lovely to think that he could be a really high scoring Grand Prix horse, but the reality is that he is an ex-racehorse doing dressage. So we have our own limitations, and it's not about it. The main thing for me is that he's happy and that he wants to work and he wants to do. So the aim is Grand Prix, but if somewhere along the line he finds it too difficult or he really struggles, then we'll kind of think about what else we can do with him. Into 2 is the aim this year, and then maybe Grand Prix the year after. I would really love to possibly do an international on him, because the lady that I trained with a few years ago, Monica Teodorescu, she is now the German team trainer. She was the last person to have an ex-racehorse international dressage level in the 1990s. So I'd really love that would be our aim. But if it doesn't happen, then that's fine. As long as Quad's happy and he's sound, then I won't push him past that.
Well, we'll definitely be rooting for the 2 of you from the US for sure. I mean, that's an amazing goal. And just, what a great testament to the breed, just thoroughbreds in general, making it out there. And then you take an ex-racehorse and all the stereotypes and the injuries that can happen, and he's making it this far. I just think it really sells them as being capable athletes for anything that they want to do.
They are fantastic. As a breed, I would recommend it to anyone. They are not for, as you're probably aware, they're not for everyone. Not everyone maybe understands the way their brain works and the way their body works, and especially post-racing, their injuries, like you said, and everything that comes with them and the time that it takes. I've been with Quad now for 8 years, and we are only really scratching the surface of what he is capable of, but we're talking 8 years of being bounced around and 8 years of having lows as well as the highs. And I think also remembering that, we are retraining a racehorse and not putting my expectations or my wants onto him. More a case of, with all of my horses, with all my ex-race horses, is a case of let's see what they can do rather than you will do this or you will do that, and adapting and adjusting along the way rather than trying to put them into that almost bubble, as a kind of a comparison, because a warm blood can do it this way, therefore you must do it. I think it's really important that we take that responsibility with them to understand them and their histories and work with them, as opposed to getting them to follow a mold, if you want to think of it that way.
I feel like I'm just going to need to save up and do a clinic with you. I'm just like, I'm in awe. Like everything you're saying, it's like, oh my gosh, yeah, she gets it.
Well, I love them, and I have we have a barn full of them here, and like I always say, it's never dull, and they all have their different characters and they all have their different personalities, and they are really what drives me every day, and they make me want to be a better rider and a better trainer and to learn more and understand more. And I think also you can always draw from so many different disciplines. When I was out in Kentucky for the RRP, I met Tip Maynard, who I saw he was over here a few months ago, and he came and said hi, and he saw my barn. And you can learn so much across from each discipline, and I think it's so important that the eventers talk to the dressage riders talk to the ranch riders. We all are in the same game. We should all support each other, and we all learn something from each other that then may help another horse or another rider. And anything you can do to then help this breed of horse, I think it's only for the positive rather than anything else.
I couldn't agree more. Now, of course, I have to ask this because our listeners are going to want to know, what type of horse owner is the queen? I mean, you said Quadrille was bred by her and she has racehorses. I have to know, is she great? Is she amazing?
She is just an incredible person. She's an incredible horsewoman, and her love, I think that's the bottom of it. Her love for her horses and love for her animals is something that I think every one of us could aspire to. She knows every horse. She knows how they're bred. She loves talking horses. And if she maybe doesn't know something quite so much, the next time you see her, she's gone away. She's found out. She's learned. She wants to know more. And she just loves every bit of it. She loves the story. She loves feeding them carrots. She loves just seeing them, being with them, seeing their journeys. And really, it might sound a bit over the top, but it's true. She's, one of the best owners. Well, she is the best owner. She has foaled these horses down. She's seen them through their racing careers. She's now owning them and keeping them post-racing, and she only wants the best for them. And for her to have the horses do the best they can, like Quad now with the ROR award and the elite dressage, and then she had Barbershop, who's with a showing producer who won as many titles as any horse can. Those two horses have been in an elite form, which is fantastic. But equally, if they'd gone and just been happy hackers, she wouldn't have minded either, because she wants the best for the horse and she doesn't put anything on them. So she is just incredible. And she's the queen, and yet she still wants the best for her horses and still wants to know how they are. And we see her, and she actually cares, which you just think, you're the queen. Surely you got bigger things.
That's amazing. What an amazing opportunity to get to work for someone like that. And I mean, oh my gosh, #goals. I want to be just like her.
It is rather surreal, and it is pretty crazy. And when we go to see, you have to see the horses, and we go to Windsor Castle to see her, for a moment, you kind of forget what you're doing. You drive in, and you unload the horses, and you start talking to her, and you then load the horses up. You go home, you drive out, and you go, wow, did I really just do that? And that almost became a bit normal, and you just go, not normal. But then with that does come a great level of responsibility. And, I'd be lying if I say I didn't put any pressure on myself, not the horse, but myself, for when we go into that arena and the loudspeakers say owned and bred by the queen. And it does give you a sense of, this is really huge, but then equally, it's not putting that pressure onto the horse. So thinking, she's trusted me with this horse, so we will show the horse to the best of its ability. But because she understands horses and she is a horsewoman, you can say to her, it went really wrong today. And she totally gets it, and she understands. And she goes, oh, there's another day, another time. Don't worry about it, as long as the horse is happy. And like I said, that's really the best sort of owner you could ever have, that doesn't push the accolades on you, just wants the happiness for her animals.
That's so amazing. And I'm jealous and in awe, and that says so much about you as a trainer as well. And wow, just a neat story. And thank you so much for sharing everything with us. If our listeners want to learn more about who you are and your mission, where can they find more information on you?
So our stable is called Thoroughbred Dressage, thoroughbreddressage.com, Facebook Thoroughbred Dressage. Yeah, it's just for the love of the thoroughbred. There's the occasional warm blood that pops up, but they are normally the naughty warm bloods that come and join the thoroughbreds to learn their ways of life. But we are full thoroughbred lovers, and I'm hoping one day to get back over for the Retrain Racehorse Makeover project again with another horse. So you never know, I'll be heading over your way pretty soon.
We'd love to see you there. Thank you so much, Louise. We really appreciate it. And best of luck with your 2020 goals for you and Quadrille. And the queen.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Of course. Cashel Company helps you enjoy the ride with their full line of trail bags and tush cushions. From cantle bags to horn bags and everything in between, comfort and convenience on the trail is what Cashel does best. To stay up to date with the latest products and news, follow Cashel Company on Facebook and Instagram. And to find their products, visit an authorized dealer or visit cashelcompany.com.
Well, I would like to welcome to the show Chronicle of the Horse employee and writer and owner of an off-the-track thoroughbred, Abby Foltz. Hey, Abby.
Hey, Jamie. How's it going?
Fantastic. Abby's a regular guest on our show, Horses in the Morning, but we don't ever get to talk about you. We talk about the Chronicle over there and what goes on in the history of the Chronicle. And today we're going to talk to you because what Joy was just telling me is that, Joy, give us the numbers there that you were just telling me.
Yeah. So if you look at off the track thoroughbred adoption rates, the number one that gets adopted, and we kind of talked about this last year on Retired Racehorse Radio, is a bay gelding. That's the number one that's going to get adopted. However, the slowest to get adopted are chestnut mares. But Abby, you have a little chestnut mare and you are just taking over the eventing field, it seems like.
She is something else. And I'll tell you, it's so funny. I just retired a bay gelding off the track, and I will tell you, he was the spicy one of the two. So yeah, I am all about the chestnut mares now, of course. Yeah, I've had her for about a year and a half and just been so pleasantly surprised. She's exceeded every expectation I had. I got her when she was 3, and it's been pretty much all uphill. I don't want to, knock on wood, say that with horses, but she's just so eager and happy to do the job, and it's been a real treat.
What drew you to her?
So it was funny. My coach posted, on Facebook, that's how we all buy horses now, regardless of whether they want that to happen or not, that she had a student looking, and she kind of put some very loose parameters, but I didn't really, as long as they wanted to work and had the brain for it, I didn't really have anything very specific in regards to height or breed or age. And we got like 75 comments. And of course, the one that ended up sticking was a woman, Courtney Sendak, up in Maryland, who I kind of knew through other people, posted she had a 3-year-old chestnut filly for sale that wasn't really actually for sale. She had kind of bought her to fill the shoes of her upper level horses. And as she put it, long story short, we came, we tried, we loved, we vetted. It was really just keeping an open mind. I very much wanted to stick with my bay gelding stereotype in the beginning. I tried a lot of them. But yeah, I went up there, and I think I was almost, my coach said, of course, we're going to go try this horse. She sent us video. She was lovely. I did have an off-the-track thoroughbred mare in the past, and she was a different story, so I was a little skeptical. But we got there, and she was just, there wasn't a whole lot of steering. There wasn't a whole lot of brakes.
Well, she's a 3-year-old racehorse. Yeah, that's how they all show up.
She was so willing. So easy. And she was started really well too. And that's so much of it, regardless of the gender or the color. She had just been kind of hacked out. And as Courtney put it, if there was a log in the way, I would pop over the log, but there was no pressure. Everything was presented in a really kind of fun, like I said, low pressure situation. So she just had one of the best brains on her that I've found. And at the track, she had kind of been a one family horse, the family that was her trainers. They bred her, their kids had ridden her, kind of started her. So she was just really kind of grounded and had that good head on her shoulders. So, shockingly enough to me and my husband, who Jamie, as you know, is a farrier, he was like, "Are you really doing this to me? You're getting a chestnut mare." But I showed him the videos and he was like, "Yeah, you have to. She's great."
Really? Oh, you got the husband support. That's fantastic.
I did.
We hear a lot about the chestnut mares, which, by the way, I have one too. And then we hear a lot about the thoroughbred feet. How are the chestnut mares' thoroughbred feet?
The feet are actually great. I will say the first thing that Courtney, who I bought her from, told me was she's great, except for she doesn't stand that well for the farrier. And I was like, oh no, I'm bringing home a chestnut thoroughbred mare that doesn't stand for the farrier. And I showed my husband the video, and then I waited 12 hours to tell him, also until he bought into her. Also, she kind of doesn't stand for the farrier. And his response was, "Oh, she's 3. She'll that's just baby. She'll learn." So he was all on board. And
I think all the listeners want to know, where did you find him and where can they get one?
Oh, he's perfect. Actually, I found him because my last horse broke a coffin bone in his foot, and my trainer at the time, who was a 5-star rider, said, "You got to call my farrier." And I did, and he fixed my horse, and now we're married. So
I love it. I love it.
That's
Perfect.
the best way to find a husband. But yeah, he worked with her, and she really wasn't bad. It's just the woman I bought her from was also a school teacher, so she worked a full-time job and expected her horses to stand for the farrier without being held, without being supervised. And then she was 3. Obviously, that skill was a little bit more to come, but she was never bad. Obviously, she doesn't have a mean bone in her body, so she's just a little wiggly, and we worked on that with her, and she's great now. I stood by her a few weeks ago to have her feet done, and her feet themselves are, knock on wood, he's inside, he's going to hear me say this, but they're as good as, I don't even want to say it.
Don't say it. Just say, this is what I say when people ask me questions. I go, I refuse to answer that in order to not jinx myself. So say nothing.
I'm going to plead the fifth. Yes.
Yeah, there you go. Perfect.
Her feet are there. No comment. Yeah.
Yeah, perfect. Now, Joy, you guys both probably have experience with a lot of off-the-track thoroughbreds, and what I find is that the product that you end up with is a direct correlation to how they were treated on the track. I mean, there are some really nice trainers that educate their racehorses, and there's a lot of them that just throw a saddle on and get out there and go. And the difference in the manners from I have 2 bay geldings that I adopted, and one was like, I don't understand why you want me to hold my foot up. The other one is like, they're both the same age, same height, same everything, same color, same look. You can't hardly tell them apart. And they are 100% different in the way that they came to me because of the way that they were trained, even in their life on the track. So their life on the track matters so much. Do you guys find that as well?
Absolutely.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. So if you can find a good trainer, stick with that. I mean, I guarantee you the horse that I have, Drax, he came here like knowing everything at the age of 4, and now he's 5. He's like the easiest thing to do anything with. And Groot, the first time we ever trimmed him, it picked up his foot and he fell over. He was like, I don't understand what you're doing. So I think it's a big, I would definitely adopt a horse again that had been through the trainer that Drax had. Yes, if my horses are all named after Avengers, by the way. Yes, I have a 6-year-old son who names all the animals.
You have to have a theme. You have to have a theme. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I was lucky enough actually to find her breeder and trainer on Facebook. Shout out to Faith Leatherman if you listen. She was friends with the woman I bought her from, and she now is so supportive. She shares all of my photos of her on their racing page. And yeah, they're obviously, it's a family business and they are very invested in their horses, and she's followed her progress, and it's so nice to find that and be able to see that and kind of have that relationship to follow through. And she still asks me for updates, so it's really nice. Awesome. I didn't have that with the last one, so it's been really cool.
That's really cool. It's really nice that owners get involved. So Abby, on a scale of 1 to 10, how highly would you recommend a chestnut thoroughbred mare off the track?
Like a 15.
Oh, there you go. Awesome. That's just what Joy wanted.
And no, in all seriousness, like, she's getting to the point now where, she's going at the novice level, and she's just everything you want in a partner. She's careful enough that she kind of does the job on her own, but she's still enough of a partner that she waits for me, and it's exactly the perfect balance that you'd want. And she's so brave. And I think that's really the chestnut mentality, Joy. I know you've got one too, and you'd agree, but just so brave and so attacking when you need them to be. But if you're not entirely there for them, then they go, okay, well, I'll wait for you. We'll figure this out. And it's been such a treat. I'm all on Team Chestnut Mare at this point.
So chestnut mares can have unicorn horns as well. See, there you go.
Oh, yes.
Thanks, Abby, so much. What's her name?
Her name is Elsa. I renamed her after Queen Elsa from Frozen. She has lots of Disney nicknames, of course.
What's her race name?
So her jockey club name was Away to Freedom, which didn't really have anything to do with her barn name. And so I'm very adamant that the barn name has to match the show name. So her barn name is now Elsa, and her show name is Absolute Zero.
Fun. That's a fun
awesome
name.
Awesome. Well, cool. Thank you so much, Abby. And we will talk to you very soon.
Thanks so much, guys. Have a good one.
All right. Bye-bye.
Thanks.
Happy 1 year anniversary, ladies. That's right. It is 1 year. Y'all have been coming on our show talking about awesome horses at New Vocations. So please welcome Leandra and Sarah from New Vocations. Hey, guys.
Hello.
Hello. Okay, before we get to the horse that Leandra is going to make us all drool over, Sarah, what's happening at New Vocations? Get us caught up.
Awesome. Well, again, thank you as always. I can't believe it's been a year. That's crazy. We are hosting our annual open barn and barbecue that we have this will be our 5th year doing it. We welcome all the guests at the Land Rover, Kentucky 3-day event to come to our farm. We're just 7 miles from the horse park.
Oh my God. Is it almost time for that again?
Yes.
What?
At the conclusion of the dressage phase. And we have a lovely band that plays that is amazing called Frontier. We provide a big buffet. It's a Southern style buffet. We have an open bar for those who are of age. We welcome everybody to tour through the barns, meet the adoptable horses. And then we do an hour-long demonstration. And this year we are super grateful. Dorothy Kroll, who is just, a local celebrity here in Lexington, has agreed to be our guest of honor. And her background is amazing. She's been selected for 2 Olympic teams. She rode in the World Equestrian Games where she got a silver medal. She's just fantastic. And she's a huge, huge proponent of the OTTBs, which of course.
Yeah, formerly Dorothy Trapp and Molokai. Okay, just say the horse's name. That's all you need to know.
Yep,
Molokai.
exactly. Hall of Fame. So we are really excited to have her. We're going to run it if anybody came to the event last year. It will be fairly similar where Leandra and her assistant Amanda ride 2 horses. They'll ride 4 horses total. And Dorothy will talk a little bit about, what she sees in the horses that they're riding and kind of give them a mini clinic. And then we are super grateful. Rosie Napravnik has also agreed to come in as she is a product of Dorothy's training. Her horses are just to kind of show what a more advanced horse that goes under Dorothy's program can do, essentially. So we can't wait. We're really, really excited.
That's fantastic. That's going to be a lot of fun. Where can people go to get tickets?
They can go to newvocations.org and tickets will be on sale March 1st.
We went last year and it was an absolute blast, and I look forward to coming back this year.
Yay!
All right, cool. Thank you so much, Sarah, and we'll talk to you. Unless you want to hang out and hear Leandra and Joy drool over the horse.
I'm probably good, but I so appreciate it.
Absolutely. We'll talk to you next time, Sarah.
Thanks. See ya.
All right, bye-bye.
And from the back of the pack on the outside, Commanding Curve is taken second, but California Chrome shines bright in the Kentucky Derby.
And now it's time for the New Vocations Winner's Circle Adoptable Horse of the Week.
Leandra, tell us about Darling Cassie Lou. That's actually her name. I didn't make up the darling part.
Yes. And she is exactly that. Her name does not lie. So Cassie, or as she's called around the barn, it has become a really consistent product of the transitional training, which is, sort of the cream of what we do. So I'd say she's a perfect example where she was more of the off the track look when she first came in, and she's really rounded out to this bigger bodied uphill, much more mature looking, lovely mare that she is today. She has a little bit of that distinct look from her facial markings. She has always been one of those who was blessed with the long forelock. So she, whips it around in a luxurious manner.
She's a Maybelline ad, basically. Her forelock is to 100%. Die for.
Yeah. But she's born with it.
Oh yeah, she's a 16-hand dark bay, kind of not dark bay, but just a bay, a darker colored bay with a very unique blaze running down her face. She's got a very kind eye. How is she to ride?
Well, so we do need to do. We're in the process of posting an updated ride video, so you can see the before right now, which is linked to her profile on our website. And you will very soon be able to see the after product, and you'll see what we've been working on as we describe in the description for her, which was to get her to relax more, soften at the bit, and really try to engage her whole body and be more collected all around, you will see the product of that, especially in contrast to that first video where she was a little more resistant to the bit pressure and she just would kind of test, and you can see her starting to figure it out, and now she has so much figured it out and she's stunning. I mean, you could be standing in our office and then look out the window to where our outdoor is, and she just draws your attention. You're like, who the heck is that horse? And it's her. She's so lovely to watch. She's really uphill, and to watch and to ride, I should say. She takes up a lot more leg than you might think because she's really leggy, and she's just turned into this blossomed, lovely creature who's ready to take on any new task. And really, I think that she'll stand out in the show ring or in a pleasure setting, and she could kind of just do whatever.
Yeah, she's really pretty. And today only, because this episode is coming out on February 14th, Valentine's Day, hopefully y'all have filled out an application because she's on sale. It's like she's free. $800 adoption fee until the end of Valentine's Day. So you can get your sweetie a new big darling Cassie Lou.
Exactly.
All right, Leandra, thank you so much for coming on. And again, happy anniversary. Thanks for spending the year with us.
Well, thanks for having us for a whole year.
Well, we'll see you at the Open Barn and Barbecue in a couple months.
Absolutely.
All right. Bye-bye.
All right. Thanks. Bye.
You can find our show notes and links to today's guest on the website at retiredracehorseradio.com. Like us on Facebook and Instagram. Just search for Retired Racehorse Radio and follow us on Twitter at Horse Radio.
Reach out to Jamie at horseradionetwork.com, or you can email me at joy@horseradionetwork.com, or follow me on Instagram at joyhequestrian. Thanks to our sponsors, Kentucky Performance Products and Cashel Products. And don't forget to check out all the other shows on the Horse Radio Network at horseradionetwork.com.
And
remember,
if you like us, please go on and rate and review us. If you don't like us, you just keep your mouth shut.
Yeah, that's when you email Jennifer. All complaints go to Jennifer at horseradionetwork.com.
Yeah, there you go. Go ahead.
Remember to set your goals high and love to learn from every ride.
And spay, neuter, and geld.
Mwah. Bye, guys.